So if you're thinking about Dogecoin, you're probably also big fans of SNL. We're going to actually dive in to maybe if there are such a thing as fundamentals on Doge. We're going to dive into them today. My name is Paul Barron. This is TechPath. The idea behind Dogecoin, as many of you know, is really kind of just that. It's an idea. It is a little bit of a different cryptocurrency. In many cases, people have looked at this coin for quite some time as kind of a joke, and it should be. That's kind of the base in which it was built. The difference is that much like what we've seen in the stock market, there is a large fan base of Dogecoin, including Elon Musk, when you think about what he's doing with SpaceX and all the likes. Today, we're going to really kind of dive into a little bit about that. In these market movers, we basically look at data. We look at what's happening in the market. We look at some of our own data, proprietary data, and we try to bring that all together to give you guys a report on where it's going. Now, as a reminder, this is not investment advice, but it is an educational and research package that is based on our own findings and our own options of where we do our research. But it is not, we are not financial advisors, and of course, always highly recommend that you do your own research and due diligence. Let's kind of jump into what the topics for today will be. What are the driving factors for Doge? That's kind of, because it still is a thing, and I think a lot of people are looking at Doge. Is it dead now, or does it have some life left in this bull run that we are experiencing? And then, of course, the Saturday night sale, we'll talk about that. Will it recover? And new model use cases and potentially how Doge could kind of make it to the next level. Let's look at one of the driving factors for Doge. Now, this happened on Sunday, right after the event, on Saturday night, that I think a lot of people were expecting Elon Musk to really kind of pump Dogecoin and really kind of reveal it to a little bit about what I think his message is, and that is that Doge in general is and can be that it's kind of a joke on the currency system, is that money can be anything. Money is what you and I think money is, and if we're willing to trade whatever that might be, or whatever we believe together, and that is essentially the monetary system. And it has been for about 3 decades, since we've moved off the gold standard of where the US dollar is back. So I think that's his whole framework of where Elon is going. But when you look at something like what's happening over here with the Winklevoss twins and Gemini is a very, very quality level cryptocurrency exchange. And when you look at the fact that they have jumped into allowing you to exchange Dogecoin on the exchange, and here's the big one, earn interest on something like Dogecoin. Gemini is going to let clients now move their holdings into Doge and other cryptocurrencies with interest-bearing accounts. So this is kind of tracking along with what's happening on all exchanges, including BlockFi, Nexo, Voyager. We've had Nexo and Voyager CEOs on our show right here talking about kind of where that decentralized future might go. And of course, if Doge is part of that ecosystem and we continue to see moves like this from companies like Gemini who are doing some big things in the market, it only reinforces what Doge is, and that is a belief that something is going to continue to move. And I think this goes back to a couple of things, and we're going to break these down today as to why and if Doge can hold on through this bull run. But additionally, when you look at some driving factors, here's a story by The Verge talking about SpaceX, which is now accepting Dogecoin, and it'll be paid exclusively in cryptocurrency to launch an upcoming satellite named Doge 1. Yes, to the moon, of course. So you kind of see the game that Tesla is playing, or I should say SpaceX, but Elon is playing, in the sense that he's really moving I think a belief system into understanding that cryptocurrency is here to stay, and that there are going to be many instruments throughout the years that we will all have some very interesting sentimental affections for, much like what we've grown to do with Doge. One of the things that, and just to be aware, I bought some Doge. I was one of those who bought in probably late, and at the same time also exited prior to what happened on Saturday night with Elon Musk. And my anticipation was that there wasn't enough traffic really moving in the direction that we were going to see the bump that it needed. Remember, Doge, a lot of cryptocurrency is really built around Metcalfe's law, and Metcalfe's law is kind of the node effect of how many people are talking about something, how fast does it proliferate throughout the network, which is in most cases social media, and all of that. So I looked at a couple of things here on this chart, which is follow the bigger moves. And what I wanted to kind of get was, and this one is of course, going back through, looks like I'm going back through the 4th of May here. So you can kind of see its rise. There are two things that really I wanted to look at here. And we've done this in many different analysis of many of these coins. One is on the sentiment during dips. And then we also look at the influence rating during high points. Sentiment during dips tells me if the coin or this cryptocurrency can hold. You can see there that Doge was losing sentiment throughout the week from 72 down to 70, which is around the 7th. And then it had bumped back up on its dip there on the, looks like the 9th, right before, on the 9th. So that was the sentiment when it got hit basically with Saturday night. So here's the thing. Its sentiment continued to climb, and the influencer ratings started moving around on this. And this tells me when you start to see influencer ratings jump up when we have a down market or a downtrend in a currency or in a crypto coin, it tells me that the influencers are guiding the path for that particular information, and that's being Dogecoin. So when you look at all of that, it starts to play out that the bulls were essentially out early, and what we have now is a bit of a rebound of Doge. So it dropped into, I think, around 50 cents, under 50 cents, and has started to kind of bubble around there, and I think we might see some sideways action for a little bit before we start to see, and this is going to be key, is if the influencers can continue to hold the coin and prop it up, we will see some movement on this before this bull market ends. And of course, the bull market being digital currency in general, we have seen a lot of experts that are really pointing towards September as being kind of the end of this bull run, and that will start to see the beginning of a bear market. Once a bear market hits, we think that's where Doge starts to meet its match. Let's also look at, can it rebound? So here were some things that were interesting. This kind of just reinitiates what we're kind of talking about, the major tumble in prices as one of the most popular memes assets in the Doge house with investors on Mother's Day, at least for the moment. You can kind of see here, but what I wanted to do with the Doge's 13.4% change Sunday evening was take a look at where the transactions from a sentiment analysis state were coming from. And this is the 18 to 34 crowd, and then a 34 to 55 in the orange. And you're looking at sentiment and then the influencer rating. The sentiment continues to hold. And influencer rating is much more positive. So you can kind of see there is a demographic that is holding on to Dogecoin. And because of the fact that this demographic in the 18 to 34 is eerily similar to that of the GameStop demographic of how they were trading and utilizing basically groupthink to drive the price of something in terms of value that really was not worth that value. So this is really, again, a play. And if you're comfortable with these kinds of actions, which in the stock market many people do and have done this for years, and that is, pump and dump and kind of blow up stocks and deal with kind of the aftermath in the wings. And I think that's where Doge is right now. The one factor, though, that really starts to make me think that this could shake just a little bit, and that is these tweets here. Of course, this was from Robinhood on Sunday night. Now, I want you to think about this for a second, because Robinhood, of course, is the leading exchange when it comes to stock pricing, but also, of course, it's also one of the key platforms in which you can acquire Doge. If you're a new investor, most people were looking at ways to go get Doge last week. And Robinhood, of course, had excelled because they were the #1 app in the App Store. They benefited a lot by the push. Now, here we are on May 9th. This, of course, was Robinhood's help Twitter account, which says we're aware that customers may be seeing crypto orders display as pending. For an extended period of time, we're experiencing a delay in order status. Oh boy, here we go again. 63.5% of Robinhood users says they are looking to change their crypto exchanges after Saturday night. So I think this might be a short-term life for Robinhood as being a primary altcoin exchange. And if you look at some of the things like Alex Salvi, what he was kind of pushing to, and then all of his followers, they stopped selling or buying. They were worried, and that's why I refused to use Robinhood for any reason. You kind of get the picture that Robinhood is starting to lose a little bit of faith in the 18 to 34 crowd, which is very critical both for Robinhood app users, but also for the scenario of Dogecoin, because the 18 to 34 is really driving this from both a sentiment and also an influencer rating standpoint. So that's a big thing. If Robinhood is not the player in which you will be participating, that's where I think some of the moves that are happening both with companies like Gemini, if you go over to Voyager, you can grab Doge over there. Some of these other platforms that will enable you, and then there are others like Trade Ogre and a few others that will allow you to get into some of these really unusual and remote altcoins, which is typically where a lot of the Bitcoin millionaires are made, is through these altcoin analysis. And I think we still have some of that going on when you look at what is happening in the space. I want to jump over to Trade the Chain real quick, so you can kind of see here what I'm looking at with Trade the Chain. Just want to kind of show you something with Dogecoin that is very interesting. I want to highlight a few things here so you can kind of keep track. Let's jump over here. Actually, I want to go right there and there. Okay. And then let's zoom in here. You can kind of see what I'm talking about. First of all, daily sentiment and long-term sentiment holding at 61 and 74. Very solid. The relative tweet volume, which is, again, this is a fraction of what we look at on our own data that we've been collecting for almost a decade now. And what we do is we target against keyword analysis, but again, we're looking across a variety of different social platforms. This, of course, is Twitter with Trade the Chain. 40,000, you can kind of see the tweet volume in comparison. I mean, Bitcoin is one of the only ones that really holds at that level of interest. So that is a very positive. The interesting thing here is the tweet volume on Dogecoin. Let me zoom in on that so you can see it a little bit here. 32.93%. Now, again, this is Ethereum right up here at 83% and Bitcoin at 7.18%. So you can kind of flow with what's happening in the market. Here's the opportunity, though. Relative trading volume is right here at negative 7.5%. Now, this is live currently from Trade the Chain. And there's a lot of variations. When I look at something like this, I really like to take a look at where the activity is on relative tweet volume against where the trading volume is, because this tells me that this is a buying opportunity for Dogecoin if you are interested in going into something like a Dogecoin that really gets into where we're going. So we're trading at 44 cents right now. It's been bumping around 42 to almost 53. We'll continue to see that. So as you can tell, this one is still very bullish from what I believe are the influencer markets. So as you start to see really kind of the future of where Doge is going, the real factor I think that's going to play into this is really if it can hold on to the influencers for an extended period of time here, I think Doge is going to make it through this bull run. And at that point, I think it's going to fizzle out a bit. So here are my projections. Into the bull market sometime in September. This is we're seeing this coming from a lot of different experts in the field that are really looking some of the long level charting that occurs around tracking Bitcoin for many years, and Bitcoin being cryptocurrency, which is the guiding light for a lot of what we'll see in the bull runs. If the influencers do continue to push Doge, I do think we see this to 250 by September. This is its window for Doge. So this is a very key point for you. If you are a Doge follower and you're looking out there in the Doge army to try to get out there and support it, and maybe you came in at 25 cents or 30 cents and you're looking to do a 10x on it, this is potentially going to be the window that gets it going. Now, this will be the key, and this is a big factor. They've got to have a few entities that will take Doge in any form of payments, or have a few entities that do things like what Gemini is doing around paying interest on Dogecoin. If we see more and more of those scenarios start to continue to flow into Dogecoin, then the influencers, I think, keep this propped up. We'll continue to see a little bit of a slow burn right now for the next, maybe for the next month, which is here in May 2020, through probably mid-June. And I think at that point is when we could see some scenarios really play out here. Again, these are the things you have to watch for. Looking for key influencers to be propping up the coin. I don't think the whales are going to come back in at this point. So I feel like this is truly the Doge army that is left standing. And I think this is the one that is going to take this up to September, and we'll see where it goes at the end of the bull. Now, at the end of the bull run, I want to be clear about this, is once that Doge and the bull run kind of collide, whether it's in September or this fall, that I believe is going to be the end of Dogecoin as we know it, unfortunately. But at the same time, I think there's going to be some coins that slide right in its place and will become sentimental, rock stars that the Doge army can quickly shift to and be done. Here's the thing, guys, as I always tell everyone, is be careful when you're investing. Doge, I look at it strictly as an entertainment coin. It's something to play with, much like if I'm going out to the gambling or the casino. That's the way you should be looking at it as well. Again, not investment advice. It's what I do. And we kind of do here with our own, monetary platform here at Rever Networks. So the idea is you've got to learn how to play the market, watch the cues that can help you move, and then, of course, do as many and a tool analysis that you can. Don't trust just one source of information. You need to find as many sources of information to kind of go to the next level. So we're going to continue doing these market movers and these breakdowns from time to time. We get a lot of requests, of course, on cryptocurrency. That's why we've been kind of doing those a few more on crypto here recently. But we also cover a ton of topics in robotics, obviously EV and AI, and autonomy, if you're really kind of into that space. And then, of course, all things really kind of front-facing technology that are more innovative in terms of where our society is moving in the future. So that's really what TechPath is about. The best thing you can do for the show is subscribe. Make sure and subscribe right here. You can also hit the bell. You're going to get notifications. If you are listening to this over on the podcast, go ahead and give us a rating. We love those as well. Additionally, we love the comments, and I even love the hater comments. We love them all because we're learning hopefully as you are, and hopefully being able to bring you guys some great interviews as well as great analysis on both digital investing, digital cryptocurrencies. We had Mark Moss on here recently, big guy that I think has a lot of great sound financial advice. If you haven't checked his channel out, make sure and do so. And again, if you have an idea for a TechPath, just shoot it to us, which is producer@revernetworks.com, or you can hit me up on Twitter @Paul Barron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.